Welcome to Tachyon Triage. I'm Brandy, and this will be one of the readings that I'm just kind of getting on the side. You don't have to watch this if you don't want to. If you're interested in Tachyon Triage for August, check the description box below. I also did a reading for Leo risings or Leo energy, which I am a Leo rising, so teaching from a place that I know, and it's called Betrayal, and that will be linked down below. So let's go ahead and get into this energy. So I had an experience where a moth landed on my forehead during the 4th of July. Now, this will be timeless. You may not see this when that happens, and that's perfectly fine. I'm trusting that God is going to bring it into your energy when you need it. Okay, so this could be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. I don't know. I'm trusting that it's going to get where it needs to be. But I had this experience where a moth landed on my forehead in the middle of the dark. I mean, it was huge. It was very big. I also seen an apparition of my grandmother in my driveway. And so I've got this message to come forward here. So I'm going to go ahead and relay that message. I kind of put some structure to it, so it wasn't just rambling. So when a moth lands on your crown of your forehead, because this is the third eye chakra, listen closely to the words that your ancestors said. Okay, so that's specifically something that's coming through. Pay attention to your surroundings. When the world loses sight and the shadows grow tight, okay, your spiritual night vision turns on in the night. Okay, so we've got some activation of your third eye here. All right, if you're a Leo rising and you can relate to this, okay, this energy, this third eye activation, this energy that's happening, okay, especially if it happens to you around July, which again, this is timeless, but there's a transformative energy in July that's happening for us all, specifically Leos. Do not brush it off as a random coincidence, okay? That shit just don't happen randomly. You've just received a literal tap from the universe that activated something, okay? Activated your third eye, your sixth sense, your energy. And for some of you, if you're reintegrating your moon energy, okay? A forehead is very sacred to me. It's a sacred seat of your third eye. And it's the realm of very clear sight, psychic intuition, all of these things, and the ability to see beyond the physical illusion. So maybe you're surrounded or you have a situation that's a physical illusion. Okay, so pay attention to that. Think about the nature of a moth. Unlike a butterfly, which dances openly in the sun, glorious sun, everybody loves the sun, sun for life, warmth, etc., etc. The moth specifically is a creature of mystery, or it's navigated by the moonlight, or it moves in the dark. Okay. It navigates the pitch black darkness. All right. It's driven entirely by an unyielding instinct. Okay. A pull towards the light. Okay. It can't help it. It goes towards that like a moth to a flame. I know you guys have heard that saying. It doesn't use human sight. It doesn't use what it sees to navigate. It uses its inner compass. Okay. So literally it bounced off my forehead. I was standing in the dark, talking to people, bounced off my forehead, big, huge moth. And the reason that it's choosing the forehead, it's like giving you a blessing, or it's like passing a medicine directly into you. Okay. It's telling you that it's time to rely on your on your third eye, not your physical eye. So there's something here that's really pulling me to tell you to really pay attention to your intuition, your psychic abilities, what's going on under the surface here. Okay. Don't look at what looks good on paper. Don't look at anything like that. Like, no external validation. I know a lot of you are independent and external source of your energy right now, which I'm super proud of you for. Also, logic isn't going to help with some situations. You're going to have to depend on this intuition, this psychic ability that you have. You know, I feel like it's almost like this ordainment, pap, or this, what's the word that I'm trying to look for here? Almost like a forced spiritual or ancestral night vision that's being activated, almost like pushing the button. Because I feel like you're going or undergoing with that transformational energy that I spoke of earlier, like a metamorphosis, and it requires you to trust yourself, your instinct. Okay. Very important right now. I feel like this energy is happening because I feel like Jupiter being there, it for Leo risings, Jupiter is sitting right in your first house. Okay. Of self, pushing you to expand. Remember the lessons of Jupiter, though. I always speak about this, but it does bring blessings if you can pass the lessons. But it's pushing you to expand, break your old boundaries. It's really forcing like reintegration into a whole here. So if you defragmented or anything like that, you're probably working heavily on reintegrating those aspects of authenticity, who you are, and not really being in situations where you're defragmenting to be able to exist within that, and there's no judgment there. So it's a survival instinct mechanism. Okay. But it's asking you to step boldly into this light, this essence that I've been speaking of. I just feel like Pluto is like activated as well. Like it's like tearing down the old versions of you, or the relationships that controlled you, or like any kind of control dynamics, or like toxicity, or like corruption is being really put to the forefront. You can see this on the world stage right now for sure. It's tearing down those old relationship dynamics, and it's exposing hidden truths, like maybe truths that you knew was there, but you didn't have the proof that you needed. You're getting that proof. Okay. And to top it all off, those nodes are shifting, and it's going to directly affect you, Leo, and my Aquariuses, but it's going to directly affect you. And you're really focusing on from me to we, and who is the we. If you watch the previous video, who is in the essence, okay, frequency. The South Node will move into Leo, into the first house for Leo risings. And this is like an 18-month, like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna say an eviction notice, because that's sort of what the energy is. So if you've been close to a Leo rising and they're acting, nonchalantly distant, you did something. Okay, that's all I can say. It's an eviction notice, but it's an eviction notice for ego, because really with the North Node moving into Aquarius, it's about humanitarianism, the group, contribution to the group, the future, right? And it's interesting because I feel like there's like this burning away of what used to be, stripping away of like the old identity. And there's this frequency that is so strong of awareness of self and awareness of others, good or bad. Okay. But you aren't seeking validation or approval anymore. So you're not performing. To my Leos out there, you're absolutely not performing anymore. You're just creating, you're doing your thing, and you're being led by your heart. Okay. I can say that. Not making other people comfortable. And I feel like the moth represents sort of this anchor as well in the energy. And I think what it's really saying is you can't take your past self into the future. And I don't mean that with any disrespect. It has to be integrated. And if you, as a Leo rising, have not been leaning into this intuition and psychic intuition and messages and stuff, you're not getting all of the information that you need. And I think that it's really tapping you to integrate that aspect. I talk about duality. We all have light and dark and how to transmute that and integrate it into a whole, right? Leo risings are literally in the energy to shine like the sun. But right now, I feel like in the energy, and this is going to sound really creepy coming out of my mouth, but I feel like your greatest power is to be able to navigate like the depth within you. And would someone call that like things that are unconscious, that you know what I mean? That's where a strong power is for you, Leo. You're very in tune psychically, stronger than ever before right now. And I feel like there's just this wholeness in the energy. Um, you can navigate like the darkness, right? The moth is a representation. It is literally navigated by what you can't see. It's the darkness, right? It can move in those dynamics. And for those of you that's a Leo rising, Scorpio in the fourth house, you definitely can walk in the dark and not trip. Like it's just, you have the capacity to do that. Um, the moth, and it's not here to scare you. Like this is not supposed to scare you energetically, right? Like it's to remind you that you're equipped to fly through the dark, with that Scorpio energy. Maybe some of you aren't fully integrated with your scorpionic energy, or there's a call to action for Scorpio to come up and to be able to work that energy, balanced and reciprocally, dual by design, polarity. Trust what's falling away right now. Okay, trust your intuition. I feel like your third eye is wide open. I feel like, it's important for me to reiterate that message. And I feel like you have the full backing of your ancestors, whether it's your grandmother. I saw my grandmother in the driveway, like in the stones, and, all of those little stones form a driveway, right? And so it's about the me to we, and who is the we that's going to be able to understand the foundation, right? Be able to understand and all working together in the future for a common cause here. So, if this message resonated with your soul, if you've experienced something like this, you've been feeling like this intense shift, leave a comment below and tell me like what was your signs that you experienced. Mine was a moth, but it can be different. Drop a like and subscribe, and if you're interested, check down in the description box below. And we have posted up like August 2026, there's July, so forth. And there's also prescriptions to help you navigate the energy. So I love you guys. And until next time, stay in your tachyon mind. Bye.